If you find a lot of your time making videos is spent editing so that it's hard to find the time to get your videos done and still have a life, then keep watching. In this video, I will be sharing 5 hacks plus a bonus for those who stay to the end for making the editing process go faster, which frees up your time to do other things that you want to do, including making more videos if you want. So let's get started. Now, editing can actually be quite fun and allow for a lot of creativity, but it can also take up a lot of your precious time that you can't get back. So here are some tips to make the whole process go a little bit faster. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, of course, is start a new project. So I'm going to call this editing because this is the current project I'm working on. And while you can do this different ways, I like to use Finder and just import my files directly to the timeline like you see here. There are other ways you can do it as well. Whichever way you do it is fine. Apple minus or the command minus key will shrink the timeline so you can see everything in your timeline. Here I just have 2 clips because I'm just doing a beginning and an ending for this particular video. But the idea is to do macro editing right now. So I'm going to make sure all the sound is correct before I start cutting that clip down. So I don't want it too high like that, where it had the yellow and the reds, because that means it's clipping and the audio is going to be distorted. Now here you can see there's a little bit of red clipping, so I'm just going to lower that slightly so that the audio is even and isn't going to be clipping. So that audio is now fine, and that's totally across those 2 clips. I don't have to worry about that. The next thing I would do is to do the color correcting if I'm going to do that. So I'll go to the color board up here and make some adjustments. So I'm actually going to go to the color section here, and I'm going to make some adjustments, make it a little bit more blue so that there's a little bit more blue tone to it rather than all the red tone. So once I'm happy with that, I can go and copy that to the other clip using copy paste. I'm going to turn off the audio attributes because I don't want to copy those across. I just want to copy the video attributes that I've just done. So now both of those clips have the same color correction and they are good in terms of audio levels. Once I've done those macro edits, I'm then going to go in and start cutting out the sections that I actually want to keep. So I'm going to use the Apple Plus key to zoom in on the timeline, and then I'm going to go through and look for where I'm starting my edits. Now, I cut out all that beginning stuff because I could tell that those weren't any good. And it looks like these aren't going to be any good either because they're quite short clips, so I probably made mistakes. So I think this is the first good one. So I'm going to just take out that blank section. I'm going to cut the end of it, cut out that blank section, and then edit that way. So basically by using the waveform to edit, I can actually edit much quicker because I know where I'm likely to have made mistakes. So any of those little short peaks that you see are likely to be mistakes, so I can just get rid of them. And any areas where it's not a consistent block like that, those first 3 you see, is likely to be mistakes. So I can edit through much quicker that way. Also, another tip is to use to fast forward through your clips so that you don't have to listen to them. So you can hear that I'm actually going through these pretty quickly. I'm obviously not talking at normal speed here. So I am pushing the play key, which is the L button on your keyboard, and I'm pushing it 2 or 3 times to make it go faster. So this will save you a whole bunch of time. Now you can see here I've made mistakes. I'm just going to chop out all of those sections. I wanted to make sure that those were mistakes because sometimes I have very short clips, but most of the time you're going to be looking at getting to that next big chunk there before it's correct. So I'm going to just get rid of all of that. So using the playback speed at double, you're going through it much quicker. You don't actually have to choose which clip you're going to use right now. What I do is I go through, make sure I've got all the clips that are potentially decent, and then I go back and listen to each one at real time and figure out which of those clips I want to keep and delete the rest, and then go to the next clip, choose out of those 3 or 4 clips and then delete the rest. and then go through it that way. So this is just the first part of editing, and it just really speeds up the process quite a bit. You can also listen to the summaries. So if after this I kind of made a face and it didn't look good, I'd be like, okay, so that probably didn't go so well, and I can just delete that clip and not even bother listening to it. And for my bonus tip is to use templates to make things go faster. So for me, I have a separate folder, which is, in this case, is called Extras, but that's where I keep my introduction up here. So I just go into that folder, into that timeline, copy everything, go back to the current project I'm working on, and then I can paste it in the area that I want to insert that into. And then the introduction part is done. I don't have to worry about that. And then if I want to use text, so if I'm using steps, for example, I'll go to basic title in my case, drag it to the place that I want to put that. And then I can go ahead and edit it. I'll go to the top right where I can type in what I want to call it. So let's just say step 1. And then the drop down above it will give me the option to choose my branded text format so that I can keep everything consistent. Okay, so I hope those tips were helpful, and let me know in the description below which you found to be the most helpful and which you might implement yourself, and maybe you have some other tips that you can share as well. Do let us know. If you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos related to creating online courses using video. Stay creative, and we will talk soon.